All right, everyone, welcome back to Behind the Beat. Starting here in January 2025. Glad to be back for another year of doing this awesome segment, breaking down some of the tracks that I've worked on. And I've been doing this now for like 6 years, 5 years, something like that. So it's kind of crazy to keep it going, but you guys keep tuning in. So let's do it again. And we're kicking it off this month with a track called Wintergreen that I dropped last month with Beatmology. This is part of an EP that is coming out on January 24th that is called Fresh Mints. And this is a concept I actually came up with last summer. So a little backstory for you. I believe I came up with this concept in the summertime. And the whole theme was I had these 4 tracks, and they all felt like very cool tracks, very like cold weather themed instrumentals. And I was thinking, there's still several months until the winter time. Let me see if I can find somebody to, be on board with me to release this, like a label or a collective, something like that. And I had actually reached out to a couple different people before Beatmology. The first label, I forget what happened with that situation. I think they had said that they weren't releasing solo artist material at the time. They were only doing compilations, and they didn't know when they were going to be able to do it. So I was just kind of like, I didn't want to keep waiting. And I was like, I kind of want to get this lined up in advance. Ended up going to another label. They had some creative suggestions for me, things to add. I tried to get some collaborators involved, but things just didn't work with other people's schedules, and they were working on different projects too. So I just ended up saying, let me just kind of keep it the way it is. I actually replaced one of the tracks with another track, um, with a beat. I kept the same title, all that good stuff. But then I reached out to Beatmology because I had already had that existing relationship with them. I put out the Road Less Traveled EP with them in August of last year. And lo and behold, I sent them this concept, explained the whole idea for it, and they were on board. And initially, they wanted to, I think, switch one of the tracks out or maybe like get rid of one of the tracks. We ended up just kind of keeping it as it is and giving it to you guys as a 4 piece that's going to be dropping, like I said, on January 24th. And we're dropping 3 singles. We already dropped 2. By the time this is out, the third one, which is called Cinnamon, will probably be out. But I kind of just randomly came up with that concept of naming, the fresh mints. Like when you get a mint after dinner at a restaurant, it's like a breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively. And it's like a reset, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what the music felt like to me. And then I think I came up with the title is just by randomly thinking of mint flavors. So it's wintergreen, spearmint, peppermint, and cinnamon. Just 4 random ones. There's more. I think I like Googled like mint, different types of mint or something random like that, just to get four little concepts going. Um, but yeah, it's something that's kind of just super random, but it definitely fits for the winter season because they're more of chill hop, jazz hop influenced, and they're definitely more cool and laid back. They're not really high octane, fast pace, anything like that. But this track here, Wintergreen, actually does have a little bit more of a faster pace, mostly in the percussion elements, but it still keeps a more melodic side to it. And yeah, I chose this one because this is personally my favorite one. So let's get into it. Let's see what we got here. We start out with the piano itself that you hear throughout the track. It's called the Show Keys, and I put it into Slice X. Let's hear the original first. Basically, what I did was I kept the key exactly the same. All I did was when I put the chops in, I just rearranged the chops. So let's hear the original first, and then we'll hear what I added to it. So it's a lot slower. It's a lot more methodical. So I just kind of wanted to give it a little bit of vibrant energy in the way that it's arranged. So here's what I came up with. And when I do any type of chops of a sample, I like to utilize every single part that I chop. So I think there's like, what is there, 8 different parts here? Let me check this real quick. Yeah, 8 different parts. So I used all the parts and just kind of, as you can tell, it just kind of like makes it a little bit more vibrant, makes you pay attention a little more, as opposed to it just being that classical kind of slow version of it. This is 97 BPM. So for when you're thinking of like boom bap or chill hop or anything like that, it can be from like 70 to almost 90. So this is a little bit faster for that. But when you hear the percussion, it kind of makes sense as to why. And I found this awesome drum fill that I kept and I just sped it up. I think it started out as like a 90 BPM drum fill. And then I just kind of took it up to 97, darkened the tone a little bit. But I thought it fit very well with that style of piano. So let's hear it on its own first. There's not a ton of variation in there, but it has a lot of different things going on. It has some snare, little triplets, some open hi hats. The kick isn't like super punchy. Like I said, it's definitely more of a live percussion element. And let's hear it with the keys now. See how those go together. So having all of that in mind, I wanted to keep the bass line in that same vein where it's more of a live type of feel to it. And more specifically, I wanted a bass that would play well with the other elements. So nothing that was going to be like super punchy or something that was going to kind of crowd the beat. I wanted to sit in the background very nicely, but you could still tell that it was there. I use morphine for this, which I've used before. I think I've shown you guys many times at this point, the morphine bass. And this is the acoustic bass, which is my personal favorite from the plugin. So let's hear that on its own. It's a very simple pattern. There's not a ton going on. But like I said, you notice it when it's there. It's subtle. It's there. I've said this about bass lines in so many videos. It's just there to support everything else. You know what I mean? But if you take it away, you notice it. You don't necessarily notice it like in the song all the time, but you can tell the difference when it's not present. And I love a good bass line, and I think a lot of people do. So that's kind of what I had in mind for that. And the very last element is this synth right here that I pretty much rearranged the second half, only kept a little bit of the second half, put that at the end of each of the 4 bars. So let's hear that on its own, and then I'll play you the keys along with it because I thought that this synth complemented the keys very well. And then here is it with the keys. So I just thought those went very well together. And originally I think I wanted to do some panning where I pan the keys to one side and the synth to another. But from the looks of the mixer here, there is no panning going on. So most likely what I decided on when I made it was that there wasn't enough elements to do a lot of panning, because that for some reason is in my repertoire when I'm making beats. Is like if there's more than five sounds, then I start kind of panning things off to kind of give things more space. If there's only a few elements like this beat has, I'm not doing a ton of panning. And some things are already pre-panned. Like if it's a sample, it might already be panned to the right, like 4% or whatever. And you might not even know that. Um, Unless you're really like good at sound design and things like that, which I'm okay, but I'm not like that great at it. So I don't know if I could tell all the time. But anyway, didn't end up making that decision. I don't think it really matters because, like I said, there's really not a ton of elements. And that's pretty much it. The only other thing I added was this little low pass filter here that is on the drums right before the final chorus kicks in. So let's hear that real quick. Just muffles those drums up. And it's one that slowly fades out right before the chorus comes in. Here's everything together. And then I obviously love that outro where the keys kind of drop out. But that is pretty much it right there. That is Wintergreen. Like I said, I think that one kind of represents the EP in a nutshell, because it represents, just very chill, laid back, mellow music. And that's kind of what I was aiming for with all these tracks. And like I said, the EP is going to be out on January 24th. So definitely check it out. Fresh Mints with Beatmology. And I want to thank Beatmology again for, letting me release this project with them through their awesome platform. And you can definitely go check out the rest of their releases as well with all the other amazing producers. And it's funny because I already have another concept EP lined up, and I'm thinking about getting Beatmology on board again if they are willing. So hopefully that will be coming out some point this year, but I have a lot of projects planned for 2025, and I'm very excited to present them all to you guys and keep doing this Behind the Beats series as well. So as always, thank you guys for tuning in, watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Got a lot more surprises coming up this year, continuing the Twitch streams, like I said, new music, all kinds of cool stuff. But until February, we'll see you then. Check out Fresh Mints, and glad you guys, or hopefully you guys, had a great holiday season, all that good stuff. And I'm excited for 2025, and hopefully we can all be creative, healthy, just have a great year. That's really the big goal for, I think, everyone. So again, thank you guys for checking out the video today. We'll see you next month. Take care.